Hello there, and welcome to the GitGud podcast, episode 7, and it is the road to Golden Demon. Magnus, good day. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. I am sleeping, I'd say a fair bit better. After we moved the baby, I am trying to put some effort into not going to bed at 4 a.m.
That does help, yep.
Yeah, amazingly the quality of sleep you can get by just actually going to bed.
It turns out that a basic level of self-care is actually good for you, which is a little bit out there for me, but there's always alternative things to try. This, dear listener, dear viewer, is one of our myriad podcasts. We do other content as well. If you check the YouTube channel, there are a array of tutorials and guides ranging from the simple to the advanced. And if you really want to get crunchy, if you want to see how Magnus paints beautiful pieces like the Grombendel, which is part of your Golden Demon entry, which we will get onto very shortly, please consider signing up for the Patreon. I think it's worth it for the community alone, but there are other more exciting feedback tiers and things like that if you're interested. If not, just consider giving us a subscribe on YouTube. It really helps. All right, so let's get into it. So I guess, as is tradition, dad chat.
Yeah. Yes.
You mentioned that baby is moving. She's getting older. How is life going?
She's almost 8 months now, which means she is beginning to try and stand up on her own with nothing to help her. She has been standing for months now, but she's figured out that the leg strength is there to stand up, balance is not there, which means, oh boy. It's... Well,
is that frustrating? I imagine that's frustrating for her.
It isn't. I don't think she thinks about it too much. It's kind of like an impulse to want to do something. Oftentimes it's in excitement, which means I don't think there is much thought. Because if it's something she wants to reach, oftentimes, you don't want to reach anything that isn't on top of anything, right? So she can kind of climb her way up like she usually does. So the whole standing up in the middle of the living room is more an excitement thing, I think.
I was thinking when a few years ago I had an inner ear infection that just wiped out my balance.
Oh shit!
And it's one of those things where you stand up and then the whole room is spinning. I'll be on the floor I just remember it as one of the most awful periods. It only lasted for a week and a half, something like that. But how grim that was, and imagining that I'm putting myself now in a younger body, how frustrating that would be. But also, kids like being dizzy. I don't know what that is.
And I don't think it's a dizziness as much as it's just a balance thing where she doesn't know how to correct it, right? So and most of the times she just sits down again on the bottom. So it's not, but also sometimes, so you have to be around. And, we have a cat and he's very exciting because he can move much quicker than she can, but also he's within distance. So you can see him and then you try to crawl and he will be waiting. And then when you get within baby arm's reach, he will move, and that's exciting. And especially because there is one particular thing on a cat that moves much more excitingly than anything else, which is the tail. And especially when he's, when a cat is kind of annoyed and the tail goes like this. Ooh. Yep. That is juicy. Oh boy, that is so juicy. So,
I feel this is not to victim blame, but I feel that if the cat gets caught, that's on the cat. That's the cat's fault.
No, it is. He's figuring out now that his normal hiding place, which is underneath the table on top of a chair, not good enough at all, because she can reach and she can stand. So, and the arms are getting to a length where if she's on, like, even if he's pressed all the way up, she can just about kind of like, get to tickle him a bit. He's good. But sometimes we can't find him, and it's just because he's really hiding.
He's had a bad time. Yeah, a little bit traumatized.
We're around because it's not like, I mean, at some point if you yank the tail of a cat hard enough, it will slap you, and of course we don't.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah. No, I mean we have 2 other kids, and
yeah, that's the thing. They know.
Yeah, they like to yank that tail too. So it's not like he knows.
Well, it's interesting. Like when we got Nova, our big flat coat retriever. Or was 4, thereabouts. So young, but not too young. And obviously, when you get a dog as a puppy, they're quite small, it turns out. And so the 2 of them have kind of grown up together, and therefore very much on the same wavelength, in that Nova is now enormous, but is incredibly gentle with Cora. To the point it's like, that's what, okay, this is fine. A cat at all times is like, I don't like you in the grand scheme of things. I'm going to whack you, I am here for me.
I will say, he definitely can notice. It's not that he knows that creature needs to be more gentle. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a smell thing or whatever. They just, I don't know, but he definitely knows, because what he does to the other kids when they tease is very different from what he does when she's teasing. So he know. I don't know. Maybe it's just him seeing that we are always around her or something. I don't know, but he knows. Yeah, for sure. He knows.
I guess on the Rose side, it's all about the back to school period.
Yeah.
You, as a child, you learn that summer holidays are the best thing in the world. Yeah. And then as a parent, you're like, summer holidays are the worst thing in the world. I really like that as a society we structured it such that, oh, right, well, the kids will be off for 6 weeks, but parents would never have 6 weeks off. But this will just work out, won't it?
Yeah.
And apparently it does. And it just has to involve a lot of groveling, like especially if you have a kid that you can't just like throw in a summer school thing, which is like, no, we would get a call immediately. So.
Yeah.
So that's been going good. And it's been the return of the good times after, and like routine and work and all of those things after the weirdness, as we talked about in the last podcast. So go listen to this episode if you want to hear about, when a GP scared the life out of me and all that involved and all it followed through on. So, right, main topic. We are 14 days, looking at the timer in front of me, away from Spiel Essen and Golden Demon, European leg, 2024. You have everything ready to go.
I do, still, and I haven't opened a new project for Golden Demon, and well, I have wanted to so bad. I think it's the excitement, right? It's the whole, everyone is crunching, and it's just really wanting to ride on that train too, I guess. And it's but I didn't, because I was afraid I wouldn't have the time to actually finish it. I think I would have, but no reason to push too hard. And I think at that point I did I did also need a break. I needed to just paint something that wasn't specifically for competition, and then paint something also for myself. So it's I think I needed it too.
You essentially did 2 Golden Demon projects back to back, didn't you? Because you went from Grombrindal, then you began really seriously refining the Bastion.
Yes. Yeah. So I ended up and actually I am taking also the Deathwing for open. So they have just been back-to-back competition pieces. And and I swore to myself, I'll just clean my backlog, and I didn't. So, there's a time for that.
So I guess an open question, not naming any names, but I know you particularly are. You will talk to people who'll maybe share their progress with you in a non-public forum. Like, here's what I'm working on. What do you think? Do you find that like exciting in that way? Like,
Yes.
Like, here's you know what's happening behind the scenes. You can almost feel people crunching and things like that.
Yeah, I'm not even deep into into the secrecy of who's working on what, and not at all. But I have some people who are talking a bit about, and I guess it's because it's also something everybody is talking about it, so it makes it, I guess, even more of an elusive thing, right? So how can you kind of scratch that itch? Well, you could be painting something too, and you sharing some things, and so I think it is just that and a lot of the talk we have in community is also obviously geared kind of that way, because projects are finishing up, and the timeline is you stretch the hours and try to get there.
Well, I guess like yeah. But I think as a hobby, we, for a lot of the time, we exist on separate timelines, because projects are often deeply personal, and not everyone is painting for competition at all times, because doing so would be a little bit weird in the grand scheme of things. So it's like, okay, well, everyone's operating on different timelines, and then because Golden Demon is so all-encompassing, it brings so much of the community together to focus on this one moment in time. And as well, because it's narrowing, so if you were to look at something like MPO or Nova, which was recently a Capital Palette, as to give it its full name, those are competitions which allow a range of styles and a range of figures. You'll see busts, you'll see all kinds of stuff. Whereas Golden Demon it's James' workshop and his merry bunch of plastic dudes. Which one are you painting?
Yeah.
And so there's, for me, certainly, like, I'll look at something from Nova, as I did, like when we were looking at the stuff the community was making, or stuff like pictures from the scene. It's like, that's brilliant. I don't have that bust, and maybe it's a bit difficult to get. Or like, oh, this is a custom sculpt piece, isn't it magical? Whereas there is something about Golden Demon in terms of, like, I like that model. I'm really inspired by this. I want to go paint this. Like, watching some of the stuff like Liam/Phoenix is working on, or painting Shambles, and say, oh, I know that model. I've not seen it painted like that. That's really exciting to me. I might buy it. And it's not even like I'm gonna buy it so I can beat it. It's like, I want to experience the same joy that you get painting. And I guess this comes on the back of like our latest talks episode of like paint jobs that inspire you. The problem I have at the moment is so much is inspiring, and therefore it's like, what do I paint? I paint everything. Like, no, you can't do that. Be reasonable, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it is one of the things, for me at least, where it feels like Golden Demon, everything you see is somewhat relatable, right? Because you know the model, and you could get it and just paint it. and it is different for me. It's not that I really enjoy looking at the painted busts from MPO or larger scale things from Nova or whatever. It's not at all like that. But a lot of that, I would be looking at it and thinking, I'm probably not getting this. It's not only going to be expensive, but it's probably out of stock right now too. Yes. And it's not that can be true also with some of the Games Workshop things, of course. But most of them, it's not really the case. So for me personally, it is a bit more relatable. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. And seeing things pop up, and you begin to think, well, maybe this was the start of a Golden Demon project all along, huh? And yeah, I think it's just the excitement that the community has, because it's in a year, it's two very big competitions, right?
Yeah.
And because they're spread far between, you have that time to kind of wind down and then gear up, right? So being in this final stretch for okay, so now it's competition time, and this go around, I think it is a bit special because there is an anticipation towards who's coming, because it's moved. It's not a UK one, so this one is actually in Germany. So does it limit access for some people? Maybe, but then it definitely shortens the trip for others, right? So it is pretty exciting, and it's something. Yeah, everyone is whispering about who's coming and what would they bring.
And I think all of us like the Hollywood storyline of some big name that no one expected coming, slapping down something that wins a Slayer sword, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the big. I'm like, being honest, like that was me, because like, yes, I'm all relatively new to this, but at Adepticon, being a spectator of Adepticon, I was solely focused on like, who are the biggest names, what are they bringing, what's going to be the most amazing thing. Now I'm very different in terms of like, and you and I have spoke about it. It's like we are pitching our Golden Demon experience at different levels. Like, I know I'm not competing with the largest names because I'm new to this, but I'm not going to put myself under that pressure. Frankly, I don't have the skill. But you can still go to be like, hey, this is the best I can do. And I want to see what other people around about my level are putting in to get inspired, to get a sense of like what they're thinking, what they're working on. And so the excitement becomes a lot more about the cabinets than the showstopper pieces. And just talking to people about, like, we're really fortunate. We have a huge group of GitGuders going. It feels like quite a small army. Like we could probably like take over a sizable part of Germany if we so choose.
I think we could. I mean, we could have a full football team if we wanted to.
That's it. I think yours is a lot more polite. I was like, okay, we're a military force, and you're like, we're a football force. You're a Pole. We're football, not war, not mercenaries. And so like sharing that excitement and being around and being able to support people with their I've worn for the podcast. So yes, that is Golden Demon. It is exciting. I have no predictions, and it would be foolish to make any. I think there is a lot of work I'm very hyped for, and a lot of work that I hope does really well. But I think if there's one thing we know about Golden Demon, it's an opaque judging process by design, because as one of the most popular and populous competitions, I understand why they can't be like, oh, this is why this one is, etc. So
no.
People submit their monies and we see what happens.
Exactly. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
We've seen it before. Yeah.
Just don't bin. If you win something, don't bin it. That's the golden rule, I think.
Yeah, don't no.
Winning something is a good thing. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't. Well, I guess it was a while ago that I shared a Terminator with you, and you were like, "You should make this a squad."
And you've loved it ever since.
That's it.
You're welcome.
I mean, actually, I have like
Most of it, yeah.
most of it, absolutely. Like there has been, I think, 3 points where I wanted to throw in the project.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Which not particularly strongly. First was realizing how much time it takes to paint a squad, because I don't think I'd put 100 hours into a project before this project, and so that is daunting. Like before you've done it, so I got over that. That was just a mental game, I think. Second was when I came back from my holiday. And even once like I'd got all the mental health came back because I got a clean bill of health, a week off the brush and a week of anxiety, I was like, I do not have the skill to do this. Like I was running into some barriers left, right, and center. And what I realized I should have done is come back painting something easier than what I did. But hey ho, that's all in the past. I got over it. I pushed through. And the only, and we talked about this, the only bit that was particularly rough was when I finished the captain and I had to start immediately on the next model.
Oh, yeah. Well, not even start on, I mean, start over, start from fresh.
Yeah. From base coding blue.
Yeah, and it's even a matter of the next one is not, I mean, the captain is pretty exciting though. It has some cool details, and then you do one after that is, well, it's not that it isn't cool, it's just not as exciting.
Yeah, it's just volumes. It's big, blocky Space Marine. And like, dear viewer, dear listener, like I have a life, unfortunately. Like I have a job that takes a good amount. I have GitGud, which is kind of like a second job in many ways. I don't have to put in the painting hours that Magnus does, but I do a lot of the editing and kind of some of the behind the scenes stuff and a bit of community management. And then I have a wife and child who I would like to still want to be around me after Golden Demon. And so you look at that like, okay, well, here's how my day looks like. How do I insert 6 or 7 hours of painting into this? And you just look at this block that says sleep, and you're like, I don't know. This is fine. This is for cowards. And you just throw that out, and you just put in your painting, and it's fine. And
look at those juicy 7 hours of sleep. It could be anything.
You don't need that. Sleep is a conspiracy, like if sold by people that don't want to take energy drinks to get through the day. And that's, they want to sell that conspiracy. That's fine. But it has been interesting. I think I've learned more in this project than I have in any project previously. I have the big thing, which is the thing that I will carry forward, is I have told myself at several points I can't do this, and then I've just pushed through and done it. And that is quite, I think, a rewarding thing in terms of like your development as a painter. It is anguish though, and I do. We talk about this a lot in the community in terms of the fact that there are people in the community that do not like competition painting, and I completely get it. I completely get it. Like it is a savage thing. I think the art that comes out the other end is worth it, but I can understand someone saying, no, I don't want to put myself through that anguish. I would rather sleep a good amount each night.
No, it's kind of elite anything, right? I mean, you would have to have the mind or the will or whatever for it. Otherwise, it's gonna be hell. And it's not, I mean, you can endure many things if you enjoy the product, right?
Yes.
And if you, I mean, you would have to value that product pretty highly. Otherwise, it's just not worth it at all. And it's, I get it completely. If you're not, and it's, I guess it's also why I talk about that hobby stamina thing because it's not just sitting down and telling yourself, well, this project is going to be 120 hours. Start the timer and then paint for 120 hours, right?
Easy.
Easy. You will have ups and downs, and you will feel the fatigue on a project, right? And some people would never. They would paint maybe 30 hours, and then they reach kind of a limit. Maybe it's a skill limit, but also just a fatigue, right? And if you don't enjoy pushing that limit, because I do think it's something you can expand. I think it's something where if you push a bit more on the next one and a bit more on the next one, maybe not jump from a single model straight into a 200-hour unit paint job, but I mean, if you push a bit and a bit and a bit, I think it is kind of like a tolerance you can build up.
It's like with weightlifting, it's progressive overload.
Yeah, I think it is.
You can't go and squat 100 kilos from nothing, but you can work up to it.
Yeah, and I think it is the same here. Obviously, it requires you to want to. Otherwise, it's completely wasted.
Yes.
And I will say also, it depends on the project and your style and everything, that some people just never go above, let's say, 30 hours on a project because, well, they finished what they wanted to finish within that. And others, well, are slower or are, like, for example, when I paint not very quickly, and I'm quite thoughtful and I guess very detailed and neat. So it just takes a lot of time, to be frank. And some of the steps might be that I could do it more effectively, right? Or if I really wanted to try and find a way to, I guess, optimize on the process. But that's not really something that I'm interested in, because I do enjoy the process on its own.
Yeah. I'd say, like, I've noticed that in microcosm, like even on a painting session, like typically I would say, when I first started, you paint for an hour, I'm really enjoying this hour. And then as you hit that hour, then anything beyond that is like, okay, I'm feeling a bit fatigued. I'm still enjoying it, but it's not the same. And then, like, as you moved into the second hour, it's like, oh, okay, here we go. Whereas now, I think I can just paint and enjoy the process for maybe 3 to 4 hours. It's just then the 3 that follow, I've needed to be like, you're doing this for this reason. And I guess that's like, the point you say, like, why are you doing this? If you don't care about Golden Demon or winning a demon or just kind of taking part, then don't worry about it. Like, no one's going to think less of you by any stretch of the imagination. I'm entering it not because I'm like, I'm going to win. This is it. I'm going to win a Golden Demon. It's like, hey, this is a prestigious competition. It is, as Liam described it, the hardest, potentially the hardest competition. But that's not the best. Those are different things. I've always liked that explanation.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's a lot that goes into why that is. And I do find it fascinating. I would say that is why, like, and doing this as a process in a way that I didn't fully appreciate for MPO is like why at Golden Demon at Essen, I won't be cheering everyone on. There is no person that I'll be like, I hope you do really badly, because that's just a ludicrous thing to speak.
No, we want everyone to win, actually.
Yeah, if they can just turn it, like they'll turn it open at the last minute, it's fine.
Yeah, I have already, I think 100 people where I'm like, already said to them, I hope you get a demon for this. That is so amazing looking. Not even realizing, well, we're in the same category. I guess so many demons.
Yeah, you've gone past 3 people that you hope get a demon, and then it's like, oh no.
So many people.
I know I'll be at that award show. I'll be cheering till my voice is hoarse. But also, like, if you are, like, because you will, if you're coming to Golden Demon and you see us around, I would love to, like, chat to you about your entry and just hear some of the story that went behind it. I think that's the thing that I have begun to value more is, listening to Like for you, I'm always interested in that not the Halcyon piece, sorry, the Bastion piece, because I think there's an interesting story there.
Yeah.
And the Gromvindal in certain ways. Whereas
Yeah.
I look at the genesis of like, hey, I painted an Ultramarine because I wanted to paint an Ultramarine. It's like, hey, well, this is going to become a squad because you maybe did something you didn't expect on this project, and some of the other pieces I'm bringing have good stories, and I think that's, to me, it's always about boiling it down to the human element and understanding the people behind the painting. You can admire the painting, but it was done by a person. Don't forget that. That's interesting. So I guess that's Golden Demon packaged. We've solved it. Nobody else worry. We'll be cheering everyone on.
No, don't.
But you are, whereas I am a chainsawed away from finishing.
Yeah.
You are finished, and so you've been working on something for yourself. So walk us through that.
Yeah, I this is a kind of a story in its own too, because I'm painting the Cursling for Patreon. And I saw Liam Age's Cursling. He took it to Adepticon, I think it was, when I saw it the first time. And I looked at it and thought, oh boy, that is amazing. It looks so good. I really enjoy the colors on it. I love the turquoises and the kind of lilac pastel colors. I want to do something like that at some point, probably even the same model. And I then tried and push it away a bit, and well, it kind of stayed. And then we did some other things in between, and so on and so forth. And then I had a dream, and it.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. An actual and I will say I'm not someone, I don't usually dream actually. Well, I probably do, but I'm one of those people who doesn't really. I don't remember any dreaming or anything.
Yeah, you wake up and you've forgotten the dream already.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's a whisper of anything. It's just, well, I guess I didn't dream today, and I know it's not true because they say you do, but but I actually had a dream, and I dreamt that I painted that Troggoth. And I dreamt that I put all the textures and all the details. And yeah, I did. And I dreamt that it was colorful, and I enjoyed it. And it was such a weird thing, to the point that when I woke up, I was like, what happened? I should do this. I felt like I already did it. So
you'd paid it in your dreams. You now know what to do.
Yeah, and kind of the whole, when people say, well, I talk to God or whatever, and it's not like this is a spiritual thing or anything. It's just that I felt so strongly, wow, what I really should. So I got.
Sorry, I just love the idea of some people find Christ and redemption and religion, and you're like, I'm going to paint a Troggoth. This is it.
This is my calling. No, but it was such a, I don't know what it was, but it was just such a different thing. It was exciting, and it was, even for me when I woke up, right? You're like, oh, wow, that is exciting. I want to, well, live or relive it, basically. And then I went to the store, and I wanted to pick out colors, and I wasn't too sure. Because, I dreamt it very colorful. So,
and you've got to do what the dream says.
Yeah, and I don't paint too colorful normally, right? So, and I thought, okay, so maybe this is time for the Cursling, because it will incorporate the same colors, but I want to kind of try and get a feel for them, right?
And did you own a Troggoth before the dream?
No, I didn't. I didn't own it. I didn't. No, and I haven't gone deep on those kind of sculpts or anything before.
No. Yeah.
Because normally it's a thing that is very far from what I actually would paint. It's not that I don't like fantasy.
There's
but
no metal on it. It's easy.
no non-metallics, and it is a bigger thing and tons of skin and and I paint desaturated normally, and I don't know what happened, but so I picked the Kursling out and I picked the colors, and I was almost going home and I was like, no, I have to. So I picked the Trogoth from the shelf, and I went home and I built it straight away. And I took the colors that I knew I wanted to paint on the Kursling, and I just wet blended the first layer with an I guess a dream and a hope, and then got a bit of feel for how the colors worked, and then I actually shelved it, went into doing 7 videos or something
Just
in a
a few.
row on the
Kursling.
on the Kursling, because I knew I wanted to create some time for myself, right, where I could just, okay, so content is basically done, and we're looking. I'm not starting a project for Golden Demon. I'm kind of in holding position for what is coming. I can just have some fun. So I took it down from the shelf and I started having some fun. Yeah.
So I guess a critical thing is that I did not know about this. The fact that this Trogoth came from the Immaterium, like you. I just thought, oh, Magnus is pushing outside of his comfort zone, and he's doing. But no, it turns out that this is a message from God to you to paint this model, or gods if you're polytheistic. What? So
I guess so.
there's an obvious question I need to ask.
Yes.
If you have another dream like this with a different model, will you end up painting it?
I will. Yes, I will. I have so far. Well, I'm not finished with this Trogoth at all. I am 30% in, something like that. But I've really enjoyed it. So the first 30% has been, just enjoying the colors, just enjoying the texture, just enjoying not doing it on camera. Just everything about it has been freer, and I had a kind of like a strong idea already of exactly what I wanted to, not what I wanted it to look like, but this time, because I had dreamt it, I kind of knew what it was supposed to look like, because I'm not visual.
Yeah, you've said this many times,
Yes, I'm not very visual thinking, which means this time around I actually kind of had an idea. This is what it's supposed to look like, right? I can't explain it, dude. I cannot.
Oh, so I mean, there's two things, because I think in the background I'm already cooking up, like if I can subliminally work Nurgle into all our conversations, maybe I've got a shot at getting you to paint something like that. But I'd say like on the point of joy, that's been very interesting as an outside observer looking in. That obviously when we're open the curtains behind GitGud, like when we're talking about the Kursling is a good example. I'm going to paint the Kursling as the next Patreon model. It covers these principles, these materials, these color schemes, and you have to almost militaristically roadmap it. We're going to start with the armor panels, then the trim. And you have to paint it that way, because otherwise the content don't work, unfortunately. Because no one likes a kind of how to paint guide when suddenly the model's complete from shot to shot. It's just a bit weird. So with the Trogoth, watching how, because you were kind of sharing it a little bit, and before you then showed it wider, so it's like, oh, right, so it's interesting he's picked on this to start with. But now you're kind of like almost impressionistically, it seems to me, like, I want to work on that today, bang. I want to work on that today, bang, bang. And other than, your professed hatred of base coating, it seems like that's the only thing that's kind of holding you back on this project. Well, not holding you back, but it's the only thing that's not pure. I'm just going to clearly paint my dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, I last night after a day session of painting, I just base coated a lot, and well, lo and behold, it looks much more finished because, well, now everything has some kind of color on it. But it has been a project where I kind of started in one area where, okay, so this is where the vision starts. And then I build a bit on that. And I'm looking at my desk, and it has 20 colors or something like that. So it has a lot of separate colors on it too. So I kind of had to find a way for that to harmonize because, well, frankly, they are turquoises and lilacs and violet reds and violet blues and pinks and yellows and greens, and so you kind of have to find out, okay, so how can I make all of this work together, because I obviously wanted something very colorful, but it also has to work. You can't just slap grass green in one end and sky blue in the other end and a red nose and then
well, as you increase saturation, harmony becomes harder to find.
Yes, and that's also why, obviously, on this one I've gone very pastel. I don't know why. It's just what I guess the painting gods cooked up.
This is it. You are now talking to the painting gods, which worries me.
I'm just a tool, dude.
Yeah,
I'm just a tool.
Because obviously at this point it's fine, but I'm now half dreading like the morning Discord message of, so the painting gods told me to kill last night, and that's when...
Yeah, you might be scared knowing that I actually had a dream about Simon and I being in an urban war zone. So it's...
were you painting in the war zone, or were you fighting?
No.
Oh, okay. No. It's good to know that our dystopian future will just be violence.
Yeah, scavenging for resources, I think.
Oh, okay. Well...
but I hope he's doing good.
Yeah, I mean, the podcast has taken something of a terrifying turn with these messages from God, but I'm just going to roll with it. I'll decompress that later in my own time.
Exactly.
Think about, okay, things are speaking to Magnus.
He's finally lost his mind completely.
Yeah. that classic thing is like, be careful of sometimes staring into the abyss, because sometimes the abyss stares back kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fine. What... So many questions.
I know. I will also... we talked about it a bit before we jumped on here, and I think this project is one where I won't show any painting. It's it's a lot of just stippled or scratched or striped texture, because it's going to be, textured all over. So building layers on top of layers on top of layers of stippled dots all over is maybe not the most exciting for content, right? And it's if you did so I'll show some skin, and then you do a painting montage of or time lapse or whatever of 6, 8, 10 hours of it's just not exciting.
And as if you said, the painting under camera is a stress. So it's nice not to have that.
Yeah, it is. But it's not that I could do some of it just for a bit of content. It's not like that. But it's just not exciting content either, because it's just very kind of like when you see people doing those hyper-realistic, for example, portraits that are completely stippled, and it's basically the size of a wall painting. And it's just one dot at a time, and it's probably kind of cathartic for them, but it's just, you would have to speed it up massively to be worth any kind of content, right? So I think that I will do a video on color choices and how to make them work together. So a bit on the technique and a bit of how I pick colors, because it is very colorful and quite some thought has been put into making everything work and be harmonious. So I'll probably do that for content, and that should be it for that one. Yeah.
And then the post Golden Demon season will begin, where you'll be single dad moding it with
God.
Nelly.
I'm so anxious. I will have 6, so it's probably going to be upwards of 8 weeks, I think, where I have Nelly on my own as the wife goes back to work. And I'm terrified.
Well, we're
So
excited to announce our new guest painter.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll probably be really good. It'll annoy me.
Yeah. We will see. I hope I can front load some content, and maybe we have to dial something a bit down or whatever. But we'll figure out something. And I'll be painting in the weekends and a bit at night and stuff like that.
Wow.
So I won't have that much time for cleaning up a backlog, and that's why I had already planned. Okay, so I will be finishing these 3 things in the background. I still have things in the cabinet. I wanted to finish the Stormcast, and I wanted to finish the Astrolith Bearer.
Yeah.
2 things I wanted, and I was thinking, well, I basically have a month before Golden Demon, so let's start a troll.
Well, no, that was, to be fair, that was the voices from God. That wasn't you.
It was. Yeah. No. That's not on me at all. I had a plan and I didn't stick to it, but it's, I mean...
You can't account for divine intervention.
No. I was powerless.
Really. I'm really interested in what the gods are going to be telling you when you're alone with Nelly, like looking after her.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's going to be... Well, I mean, it's hard to hear those words above the screaming of a baby saying, pick me up, or feed me something, or help me reach this, or I can't catch the cat, or...
So yeah, if you want to get subscribed to the unhinged arc of GitGud, make sure that you do so quickly.
Yeah. Post Golden Demon will be...
It'll be a ride. It'll be fine.
It will be. Yeah. I should do a kind of like a log, right? Like a captain's log or something. Every day,
it's worse and worse.
60 seconds of me staring into the camera, and you can just see the...
Okay, let's not share our content ideas too much with the wider world.
No, yeah, true. True.
So yeah, I guess so. We again, passing the curtain behind GitGud, we talk a bit about the things we want to talk about, and I have been struck a little bit by YouTube, and this is, I think, something I've had to learn. Maybe so. Pre-content creator Bruce, if I was searching a video on YouTube, I would do a search term, and then most viewed video is the video I care about, or the video plus 100,000 views. Okay, well that's lots of people are watching this. This must be good. And I've been struck recently because I've gone around a lot of the back roads of YouTube looking at content, and this all started because watching paint dry minis. He was a lovely gentleman from Denmark,
and has a fantastic YouTube. And
a fantastic Patreon. Please check them out. They did, you get a notification on Patreon like, hey, this person's recommended you to their patrons, and I hadn't heard of them before, and so I started watching their content and through some began digesting that, and they are roughly the same size as us. They're a little bit. I think they're closer to 4,000 subs. We're closer to 3,000 subs, but we're both in that 3,000 to 4,000 range. and it's really good content. It's fast. It's fantastic content, actually.
Yeah.
And like, even if you were to divorce it from the ideas, I think the ideas are brilliant. But like, the production values are superb. Very well spoken, good pacing, the kind of stuff I like. I'm like, well, I hadn't even heard of this person until essentially they reached out to me, and so I began changing my behaviors when I was like looking at stuff and going for some of the smaller content creators. And I guess my question to you, because it's one I've been thinking about, like, is this just expected? Because we exist in a world where there are, we've said before, this is a niche within a niche within a niche. You know, you have to be in it. You have to be interested in miniatures. Step one.
Yeah.
You then have to be interested in painting miniatures. Step two. Then painting miniatures to a high level. Step three.
Yes.
That's our target audience. People that are,
there's even a level on top of that, which is, and you have to be interested in learning about it.
Yes. Yeah.
In a teacher-student way. Yeah. Not in a content way.
So, like, deep. We are deep down that rabbit hole, and like, it's not. We are not. There are some channels that we just can't compete with because we don't occupy that broad space, and so I'm wondering, like, how do you normalize that in terms of like, okay, well, here's, you know, if you're getting X number of subscribers on YouTube, you're actually doing well with your niche, versus like just wanting every video to hit 1 million views. Like, do you think it's healthy? Do you think it's good? Do you find this when you're looking at YouTube videos? I know there's a lot of questions, but I've been thinking about this a lot recently, so I thought I'd throw it at you.
I think I'm also probably inclined to equate tons of views with something worth watching. I usually am, and it's unfortunately not always true, in the sense that, well, is it worth watching? Depends on for what reason, right? And I am actually much less on social media for content consumption, as opposed to, I need to see how Swinson did exactly this, or I want to hear someone's take on these colors, or whatever it is. So for me, it's much more specific. It's much more like leaning much more towards educational. And I think in general, those channels are probably smaller because, well, content is content. And if you want something with that speaks to a broad audience, and something where it's easily digestible, and you don't have to sit through 90 minutes of Swinson painting something and then picking out the gold nuggets, right? Because it can at least feel, I guess, a bit like work, right? Because you're on, and you have to be mindful of what is going on, and what you can use and how you would apply it and stuff like that. So it's not easily consumable. And I think, and that's why I said that added layer on top of everything else, you need to be interested in minis, in painting, in quality, and on top of that, you would have to be interested in watching through something where it's maybe not that easily consumable. And I think, because I use, for example, those survival kind of videos as a winding down. 30 minutes of a guy going out in Alaska and building a hot tent or whatever, and it is really feel good, and it's him being close to nature, and I'm close to not nature, and it's easily consumable, and kind of almost framed in an ASMR way, and so for me, it's just that soothing of the soul thing, right? Where others might find, okay, so let's try and hit the mark and paint this box within 24 hours or whatever, or we want to do this video to donate to someone, or whatever it is. It is probably, at least for some people, not because they're going out and thinking, well, I'll do exactly the same. It's because it's that kind of the feel-good thing, or the I get closer to something I maybe wish I was closer to, but I can't, or I'm not going to be. And I think those videos and channels, they scratch another itch, basically. And I think it's appealing to a broader audience. I don't think educational channels generally have like 1 million subscribers. I don't think so.
Yeah, and just to make sure people are aware, like, this isn't me saying, oh, these mainstream people, like, no, that's bloody hard. No. Like, it is.
Yes.
Like, there is.
I would say it's much harder then.
Yes,
because
I'd agree.
Yeah, because we can kind of divorce ourselves a bit in the sense that we know already that when we put a video on YouTube, it's basically for people to window shop what we have that we make money off of, right? And if they want to take that step into that, it's perfect. If they don't want to, well, they can consume the product that we offer for free. But the bigger, the more mainstream channels are obviously, I mean, it's not that we don't want 100,000 clicks. Of course we do.
One day.
It's not yeah, but it's not everything hinging on it, right?
Yeah, it's
because it's really not what we are selling, quote unquote, and we won't make money that way. It's not a part of what we want to stay, I guess, true or pure to the educational part, and figuring out, well, maybe that doesn't sell too great. It's not that we change it, because we're using it to basically promote our own product, right? Whereas having to hunt for the clicks or the excitement or whatever it is, we see daily, we see huge channels go under because the people behind it, they cannot keep it up. And YouTube are getting rough with their payouts, and you have to keep the excitement of the masses, which is getting increasingly harder day by day. So no, huge kudos to the people who actually do. Yeah.
There's almost like an implicit agreement. Like when you're watching our content, it's like, well, you want to learn something, and the thing that we're going to hold ourselves to is we're going to teach it to you in the best way possible that we think you can learn. And that's why there is a difference between say some of the videos that you do and some of the videos that I do, because I'm typically trying to teach simple core concepts, whereas you're far more deep into these are more advanced things. It takes longer to describe and explain. But that's the agreement. Whereas if you're a Squidmar, sometimes the anticipation is, oh, I'm going to learn something, but actually more importantly is I'm going to be entertained. I need to be entertained.
Yeah, you're going to see something cool.
Completely, and that's like,
yes, and you do.
I'm there thinking in the editing suite, like, how do I describe this concept? Not how do I describe this concept and make it really interesting if you're not here to learn. That's a real problem, and so it's not like I appreciate that those guys have a very hard time, but it's definitely been a reframing exercise for me, because when you look at who sits at the top, like certainly I would put Eric Swinson is one of those names that I would put at the top of the mountain, just in terms of painting ability to teach. The content on his YouTube is all-encompassing, long form, but he sits at 9.5k subscribers, making us near, like, we're on our way to half an Eric Swinson. That changes my perspective.
Much closer to that guy than he is to Squidmore, for example.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, much closer. Yeah.
And so that's
which is also kind of, well, it is both true and not true, right? Because honestly, he's doing much more like we're doing. Well, he's much better at it, but
No, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that he's doing much more than, like, in the same vein that we want to do and we're trying to do. Whereas the whole idea of having a larger production team to cook up and put in the pipeline videos that are exciting entertainment. Well, you're basically making movies, right?
Yeah.
It's rough work. Yeah.
Look, all I know is when my kids on YouTube Kids, they get a lot of views. So maybe we put the kids to work in like GitGud Junior.
Yeah.
And that's how we actually, because that
and I know another thing. I actually because I think I've heard Baby Shark maybe 200,000 times now. And I'm thinking if we do a montage of me painting and we put Baby Shark over it,
we might get sued though.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we need to make our own Baby Shark.
Oh, that's the thing. Okay, yeah. Well, I'll be dreaming.
Okay, so Baby Shark has had 15 billion views.
Yeah. But there are probably 100 channels who have some variation of a Baby Shark, and they all of them probably have like millions of views.
The Cocoa Melon version of Baby Shark.
Yeah.
3.5 billion views.
Yeah.
So we, if you're watching this in the future and wondering what happened to our content, this is
why does Magnus say nothing and we just run Baby Shark? Even I found a channel with two Danes, and they sing classic Danish nursery songs and baby stuff. Millions of views.
That's it. That's what we're going to do.
Kids, they just love hearing the same thing over and over and over.
So episode 7 of the GitGud podcast is where we revealed Magnus speaks to God.
We pivoted.
And that was the beginning of the Baby Shark apocalypse. Okay, that's good. Good to know. And then, I mean, I don't have necessarily a conclusion to this other than subscribe to Watch Paint Dry Minis. You can school me a bit on Danish. Is it Malta? Malta would be had? Melta. You'll make a day out of me yet. One day.
I have it as a soft T. I'm actually unsure if he's with. I mean, I call him Malte because it's Malte. Yeah, so it's a soft T, but you can pronounce it both ways, and I'm unsure. I don't remember if it was one or the other.
Malte, if you're watching this, please get in touch and just put in the comments how to subscribe, or just ping us. I think I've left a message on a few of his videos. So hopefully get in touch. Good people. And then go subscribe to Eric, because I don't know, 9.5 seems like not a lot of subscribers for what that guy does.
For that caliber. No, it doesn't. No.
I mean, even Roman Lepat's like 28K, which is a lot, but you consider that name and that brand and how long it's going is fascinating to me. Anyway, we're over our hour mark. I would ask now what you're painting, but we've talked about that. And from a news point of view, it seems that everything is kind of like edging towards the Golden Demon apocalypse. And so I think there'll be some stuff to talk about, maybe in detail after that, and get into the drama of what happens at Golden Demon and all those things. But we will be shooting content at Golden Demon, so keep an eye out for that. So what then, Magnus, are you learning?
Yeah, I'm really learning to try and front load some things so that I can have some time to just kind of lean back and do something that I find enjoyable and exciting right now. And right now it's the Troggers, but it could be really anything. It could be painting, and I even already know that the next thing I want to paint is something red. So we'll So the idea of trying to create time basically for myself, so I can find a creative energy is something I need to be better at working on. Well, maybe not after Golden Demon 6 weeks with or 8 weeks with Nelly alone. I'll be trying to survive.
It could be a rescue, though. It could, you could collapse into the creativity.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Red.
I will have my wife coming home from work being all exhausted because she hasn't been working for 17 months or something. A long time. And
she'll be coming home to prawn pasta every day.
Every day we'll just be eating my comfort food every day. I'll be trying to muffle a cry because I'm so stressed out about Nelly, and trying to muster a smile and then present prawn pasta for the both of us every day. Well,
the kids are like that too. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That's a good lesson. I'm very intrigued about what the red will be. I guess we'll have to wait for another message from the yonder. Or you could finally complete that Angron of yours.
It's one of those. It's one of those where, I guess the gods are working against. I've tried both with the Bloodthirster and the Angron. Take it back out, and it more than one time I've even had the colors on the palette and started a bit of, and it's just, nope, I'm packing up. They will never finish. I'm sorry, I don't think so.
We'll get you an airbrush one day, and you just airbrush them. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So if someone is really interested in having a half finished model, get in touch.
I assume you get a discount if it's half finished.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Good lesson, and I like that. I think that's quite motivational. Certainly, I think easy to forget from my perspective because you have essentially gone from project to project for either the YouTube or the Patreon.
Yeah.
And if you're not taking time for yourself, you're going to quickly burn out quicker than you would ordinarily. I like that. I like that lesson.
And especially because you think, sometimes you pick a project and you think, this is for myself. But honestly, automatically painting it on camera makes it not really for yourself.
No.
Even though you are excited, I mean, it's not that I was excited for the Cursling, and I still kind of am, but it doesn't feel like my project. It feels like something created as a tutorial series, right? And it's not that I don't enjoy it. Some of Grum I didn't, but most of Grum Brindle also I actually did enjoy, but it feels less and I also didn't dream about those, so
I'm loving this new crazy era.
I wish I
like that.
I was
take time
was cooking it up, but important.
I have learned many things. I think the thing that I would point to most at the moment, which is something I'm seeing echoed around now that I'm looking for it, is one of the critical things you'll have to develop on your journey to be a better painter is something that can't be taught, which is your ability to make decisions. There's been a few times where I have, or I've been contrasting what my mentality was painting Snickrot versus these guys, and I said, okay, I'm kind of stuck here, and maybe in the past I would have gone for YouTube tutorials on how to paint this particular thing, but at a certain point you have to make a decision yourself and try to execute it yourself, which involves confidence, a little bit of bravery. There's some theoretical knowledge in terms of color theory maybe and stuff like that, but eventually you have to take leaps of faith because you can't
Yeah.
paint constantly needing to check your workings. And so it took this project to teach me that, but I think it's quite a valuable lesson. And so if you're giving yourself a hard time, that may be a kind of like a crucial linchpin. And I kind of what I've called the Dark Souls boss phenomenon of there is some stuff you can't power through. You know, you can try and beat that boss 20 times and it ain't happening. But if you sleep on it, you might do it. And I think as a lesson, that's something I'm really looking to kind of take forward as I paint the piece after this and the piece after that, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think it's one of the key elements to learning stuff is to try, to fail, and to get corrected, right? So not trying on your own means that you kind of put less thought and you get not as close to, I guess, the finish line or whatever you want to call it, to whatever you wanted to achieve, as opposed to just having something handed. And it's not like I'm a big proponent of comfort projects where you just follow a tutorial or try some things out and don't care too much about the result or whatever it is. So it's not like you have to push on everything. By all means, struggle a bit. Next project, go in and say, well, I'm just following this tutorial and I'm trying to follow it as good as possible and get the result thereafter, right?
Yeah.
But you need to try on your own. It's also the way you develop your own style. And there is a thing about the style that is extremely important. The reason why it's like your style is unique to you is because it's what came natural. You cannot really force a style. Well, you can, but it won't be yours, right? And a key part in developing your own style is to try on your own. Take whatever things you've picked up and put inside and try and put those bricks together and execute something. And sometimes you will fail. You will come to a teacher or you will go back to a tutorial or whatever, and you will kind of correct it from there. But you need to try. If you don't ever try, you won't be pushing any limits. No, you won't.
You'll hit a lot of walls really quickly, and you won't ever get through them if you can never make that. Yeah, completely.
Yeah. So I agree completely.
Cool.
It's a nice learning.
Good learnings. Good learnings.
Yes.
It turns out doing no sleep and lots of painting, really educational, really instructional.
So you slept less and I slept more.
Brave new world. I like it.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I like sleep.
No,
So that, I think, good time. We'll call it there. If you've enjoyed this and you've not already, please consider subscribing. If you're interested in the community that I think we both love dearly, check us out, because I think that's personally one of the things that really has been a motivational driver for me as I've been painting.
Yeah.
Certainly for this,
100%.
we're right in the middle, slightly past the middle of the palette playoff, where we're painting with limited palettes, and then we've already got an eye on the October Spooky Mode challenge of just painting creepy miniatures. I'll be entering. I need to get you in one of these challenges one of these days, man. You do judge them, so that is tricky.
It's
tricky.
Yeah. I could be painting on the sideline. I'm thinking I should go into the Secret Santa one and just do something smaller and something
I would
quicker,
say that you have to enter. You have to take part in the Secret Santa. It's a law. I'm making it a law now. I mean, they'll be getting the post-Golden Demon Magnus model, which that could be wild. I'm looking forward to that. No sleep, Nelly. It's going to be an interesting paint job.
Painting for, it will be, whew.
Awesome. Well, for now, that is it. We hope you've had a good time listening. We will see you in the next one, and we have a video coming up on Friday. We've just released yesterday the third video in the Cursling trilogy now, in terms of painting that beautiful model. But for now, get painting, get good, and get out of here. Goodbye.